My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of the Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. And look, I just reviewed some beloved westerns in the Man with No Name trilogy, and I just tore them to pieces. I'm sure all of the comments were really friendly and all that, but I did want to talk about a western that I love. Not only do I love this movie, but I would call it the best western ever made. I would call it one of the best movies ever made, and I would say it's a masterpiece. And on top of all that, it was filmed in Edmonton, right by me. So that's cool. One of my favorite movies was made so close. But I really do love it, and there's so much to dissect here, and I don't fully comprehend everything, but it's so rich on a character level and thematically. You've got this man, Robert Ford, who worships Jesse James. And by the end of this movie, he starts to resent him, he despises him, he fears him. And just watching that transformation take place was so masterful. And you buy each and every character beat. And I just love all the depths surrounding him and his decision. Was he a coward? I don't think so. He was in a terrible situation, and he was just this naive kid, pretty much, who worshipped the wrong person. And despite Jesse James being the one who got assassinated, it also cost Robert Ford pretty much everything. And then you've got Jesse James as a character who has gotten this reputation as the meanest, baddest guy in the West, and he's created a life for himself while no one around him has any loyalty. There's no trust in his life. And you can see that it's really starting to get to him. There's a reflective nature to this story. Well, he's suicidal, and he's just so regretful of choices made in his life that by the end he welcomes death. And when we get to the moment where Jesse James gets assassinated by the coward Robert Ford, hence the title, which by the way, I love the title. I think it's important to know how this story is going to play out when watching it. It really enhances the viewing experience. But when we get to that moment, you're just like, shit, I guess it's come to this. And it just has so much weight to it, and it's such a powerful, heartbreaking moment. And the slow escalation to that point is also perfection, but the last 20 minutes of this movie, I think, is some of the finest filmmaking ever. Period. I love it. It surprises me how emotional I get. It's just heavy and explores mistakes made in your lifetime and regrets and just I'm just everything about the last 20 minutes I think is absolutely perfection. It's beautiful. It is, yeah. But I also love how there's this entire element of this movie where it explores all relationship with history and how we view certain events, because Robert Ford gets shunned and Jesse James, despite being a terrible person, people still have respect for the name. And it just shows how backwards our society can be. and it also explores celebrity obsession and projecting our own view of someone onto them. It also deconstructs myth, and I just think there's so much to this movie to dissect, and that's part of why I love it so much. And you've got yourself an incredible cast. Brad Pitt is one of the best actors ever, and this is some of his best work. He just plays this character to perfection, and when he needs to get unhinged, he's willing to go there. Like, sometimes you just don't know what side of Jesse James you're going to get, but he also showcases the regretful nature of this character perfectly, and also just, it's just, I would say he deserved the Oscar, but Daniel Day-Lewis, there will be blood, but it's close. But here's my hot take. As much as I love Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, Casey Affleck 100% deserved the Oscar. His performance here, from this naive young guy to this more regretful person, is just unbelievable. Like, he pulls off the fanboy nature of his character flawlessly, and then by the end he just feels like someone else entirely, and it feels authentic. And he showcases so much emotional range and just a brilliant performance. Casey Affleck is one of the best actors ever as well. You also got yourself a really great performance from Sam Rockwell. He always gives it 100%, and this movie is no exception. Paul Schneider, I think, gives a very underrated performance. He's great here. Sam Shepard, I thought, was great in the short time he's in this movie. Jeremy Renner gives one of his better performances here. You've got Mary-Louise Parker, who has very little to do, but she nails it. And same as Zooey Deschanel. She's only in like the last 5-10 minutes of this movie, but nails it. And Garrett Dillahunt is also really good. And this movie is directed by Andrew Dominic, who I'm not familiar with the rest of his filmography, but this is just a perfectly directed movie. It's very slow, but it's never boring. I was always engaged, and it's just very deliberate. I loved the narrated sections of this movie. It added a nice poetic feeling. I liked the sound design of the guns. It sounded very unique. I thought the production design, the costumes really immersed me in the time period. But there's two elements of this movie that I must mention. The cinematography by Roger Deakins is 10 out of 10. It is flawless. It is a beautifully shot movie. Especially the train at the very start. That just looks breathtaking. And then I also want to mention the score by Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. 2007 had Ratatouille coming out and Pirates of the Caribbean 3. And those two movies have two of my favorite scores ever. This movie might have a superior score. It is just so beautiful, and it enhances so much of this movie. And like the song for Bob is just a beautiful piece of music. And I also love just how tense this movie can be. The last act is nail-biting and just edge of your seat, waiting for things to escalate, and it's just masterful. So yeah, like, this movie just gives you everything. It's such an incredibly well-made movie with a very thoughtful story filled with amazing character work and plenty of thematic depths. It nails those emotions it needed to, and it ends in a very reflective, haunting manner that stays with me. I watched this movie days ago, and I can't stop thinking about the ending. You've also got yourself some incredible performances. I love this movie It's one of the best ever made. It's the best Western. I'm giving The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford a 9 out of 10. Okay, have you seen The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin out.